Hello YouTube. As this current season of the Perfect Origin anime comes to a close, we're going to take a look at our last Justice Shojin and the star of the last couple of episodes, which I hope people really enjoyed. I think that it's been like one of the highlights of the season, Warsman. Warsman is a really good boy, Nikolai, just a nice boy from the USSR who just grew up, became a cyborg boy, and then kind of had like some dark times and then found love. A really wholesome boy. A very popular character in Kinnikuman. And I'm happy to say that he's also pretty good in this game, and as a result, he's pretty popular, right? It's as if they made like the Justice Trojans all pretty solid so that fans of the Justice Trojans can have good characters to play in this game. So here's Warsman, right? I will try my best to keep this brief. I know that I've broken my promise with the previous few ones, but this is meant to be an intro video, so I will try to keep this brief. So, Warsman in MGP2. How is he? He's pretty similar to like the other Justice Children. He's much more like of an all-rounder type character. He just has like a lot of good tools that you kind of want out of a character in MGP2. He has a jab that cancels into his 5S, which knocks down, right? And this lets him do like a very simple confirmation like this for like a very nice damage, right? 210 damage, like really nice. He has also other tools like a two-way, which every LGBT character really likes because like it lets you go under a lot of throws using it. It's not like the best two-way ever, right? It's not Man's two-way, but it's still a really good two-way to go under a lot of stuff. He has some good special throws, something like this into his famous power special, which unfortunately isn't his best special throw. It gives you like no OTGs. Instead, like his better special throw is actually his Wars leg breaker, which I don't think he even used in the Perfect Origin anime, which is his Wars leg breaker. I actually have no idea where this is from, but it is the Wars leg breaker. Just like this guy needs two-way OTG. So you're like kind of like those things that you want out of Kinnikuman character: a good two-way, a good combo from his jab, and then a good special throws. He even has very intuitive juggles, right? His juggles are as simple as doing like a launch into doing like the string here, and then like going for an OTG, which I missed, but that's kind of the gist of it. It's a very easy string to do, right? Especially for kind of an SKD without an air throw. It's a very consistent juggle to just go for, and it does like a really solid amount of damage, right? So it was really nice if you get the OTG, which I'm not getting, but promise me you get an OTG. It does bump the damage up to about 336 or something like that, which is really nice. So just a character with a lot of good things going for him. I swear like that works, but this is why I don't play characters with SKDs because I'm awful at doing like these links. I'll say straight up, Warsman is a pretty easy character, but he does have a bit of a learning curve in that to do like this really optimal stuff. It can take a lot of lap time, and I'm just not really like a Warsman main, so I'm not really good at all the really complicated Warsman stuff. But believe me, like he's really good even at just like picking it up, but he does have like the kind of like learning curve you want to get really good at him, right? Of course, he has his signature special move, the screwdriver. This is, as you can see there, a multi-hitting. Well, you don't see it multi-hit because of it being a launcher, but it's a forward-moving launcher, right? And this is a really strong move. As you can see, you can do this, and then you basically like get a juggle pickup. More often than not, I'm dropping it, but come on. With some like alright timing, you get like juggle pickup, and then like that's a real decent amount of damage, right? It's just a really great like kind of like approach tool, a really good like whip punish tool, and it's just kind of like one of the things that define the character, like just as Screwdriver is one of his iconic special moves. It's honestly a really strong move, but also like one of the reasons like why I often discourage people from picking Warsman as a beginner, because this is a move you can really crush out a lot. Like it's not a perfect, like it's a really good move, like don't get me wrong, but it is like not a perfect move, but a lot of beginners oftentimes like just see Screwdriver and go like, oh, Screwdriver is so good, and then they just go, whenever I have meter, let me just Screwdriver, right? And that's just, if you're trying to be good at Warsman, like just not a great way to go about things. So if you keep that in mind, though, it's still like just a really great move, right? It's great for wave punishing. It's great for approaching. It's great for like pressure, right? Because like I mentioned, on block it is a multi-hit, which means it's minus, but it's actually pretty safe on block. And then of course at the ropes, it does cause a rope bounce, letting Warsman kind of just get a combo of it, right? And that's really nice. So it's a pretty good multi-purpose tool. Of course, as you can probably tell from its animation, right? Kind of just like with a lot of moves kind of like this in other 3D games. Think of like I think someone in Soul Calibur, like Cervantes Soul Calibur, like has a very similar move, like the IGDR or something like that. It is very linear. I can't do it. I can't really demonstrate it, but it is a very linear move that you can kind of like step it, right? Even if you do that, oftentimes like Warsman like ends up like too far away to punish. So it's just a really good, pretty spammable moves. Not gonna lie. And then if it hits, you just get a combo into an OTG, which I have not hit this video, but I promise it works. It's a real OTG. It's also even pretty good on parry because of it being a multi-hit. So that sometimes, like depending on how it's parried, it can even end up like just launching the opponent anyways, that's really nice to have, right? Like just like that. Picking it up might be a bit more difficult, but you can kind of just still do that. I can see there the juggle very consistent. Oh, I finally got like the OTG there. 364, really nice damage off of like on Screwdriver. But yeah, even like aside from Screwdriver, Warsman like this has like some generally really good special moves, right? You saw like the A5S, which is just a knockdown that lets you OTG off of it. He has a 6S, which is also like a similar startup, so you can combo into it as well off of his jab. Mid screen is kind of worse than like A5S, but in the corner, he does get to do something like this into like a juggle pickup if you're like in the right axis. He has a hit grab, and if you know, a lot of 2-bar hit grabs in this game are pretty bad because of like their low damage for how much damage you spend. Warsman is actually like one of the really good ones because for 2 bars it does 252 damage, which is more than most you can say. Like no OTGs like most hit grabs, but at 252 is like I feel like a pretty decent option. Like if you don't have 3 bars, you just want to like cash out like a rope bounce, like doing something like this, or I don't know if you can do jab, like hit grab. You can at least like do rope bounce hit grab. This is like not a bad source of damage if you don't have the meter for a special throw, right? Because 252 are really nice. His 5-bar is also like actually pretty solid. It's like this kind of like nutmeg slide that goes into follow-ups, like with just like the storm elbow. This one is actually like not the better follow-up. He'd actually like much rather do something like this instead, because like the ball special, this guarantees 8A even if it's a bit tight, and that's like actually not bad damage for 5 bars. But most importantly, it's a really fast hit jab, and it actually like lets him combo off of into it off of his jab, something like this, right? So he can do something like that, right, and then basically get some really solid damage off of his jab if you want to cash out with the meter. And that's like a really neat thing with this. Like the more advanced stuff that I promised, like I won't really get into too much, but I do want to allude to. Warsman like has like this somersault, which is like an insanely fast launcher at like 12 frames. It's cancelable, which can make it like a bit more safe. But if it is parry, it is very bad on parry. And it's kind of awkward like combo off of because of like the the recovery and like how far it sends the opponent. So you kind of like have to work for it, right? Like an easy pickup if you're just playing the character, like starting off, is something like just doing this into 2A for a knockdown into like OTG, which I missed, but that's like pretty bad damage, right? You can do like more advanced stuff, which I'm gonna drop, but I promise like does work if you're actually like not bad at Warsman. Where you can do something like this and then link into like his launcher into like a pickup, which I missed. But it's a pretty difficult link. But if you do get it, it does like give you like almost 400 damage off of like a 12 frame launcher, which is pretty strong, right? And why I just brought it up now and I just remembered is because another neat thing about 4-4S is it's sort of like just like a really like plus on hit grab that just leaves them standing. They're just able to combo this into like a 6-3-8, right? And the juggle is actually like even harder off of that, and I mean like it might be like a bit counter specific. So I'm definitely like gonna try that. But it is like some pretty cool like more advanced Warsman stuff that you have. So this is what I mean where Warsman to just like start off, you can just do the simple juggles and that like goes you like a long way. Which I dropped, but I promise like it's pretty easy with like some small practice. And just do like the simple juggles and then start to like learn like the OTG timings for of SKD, then eventually like pick up like the more complicated stuff like linking 623A, track cancel into like 66A and all that stuff. There's definitely like a learning curve that you can proceed with Warsman, which is really nice. That's kind of like Warsman's main strengths. He's just a very functional character. Like he does a lot of the good things that this game wants you to do, and I think a few couple unique tools and surprisingly like in-depth like learning curve if you want to like learn more complicated stuff, right? And of course, if all else fails, you just Screwdriver and then just cheat people out with that. It's just a really enabling tool, I think. So if you like Warsman, if you like Screwdriver, if you like a multi-hitting, forward-moving launcher, Warsman is a great character for that. Just like be careful that if you're like starting off, that you don't over-rely on Screwdriver, because then you just won't learn all the other good things about Warsman. Like I said, I haven't really gotten into what makes Warsman not as good. Warsman's weaknesses are not super relevant at a low level, but they are worth mentioning. His range is kind of weird, and his neutral is maybe like not as amazing. Like it's pretty good reactive neutral, right? Because of obviously just this is an insane like whiff punish, right? Like this is a great counter poke and stuff like that. But it's not a very proactive neutral. It doesn't really have like some like amazing like neutral pokes. Like this is okay, I guess. It's like a pretty slow but pretty long range kick that if you charge cancel, like it's like +1 on hit, and it's like -15 on block. So it's like pretty whatever frame data, I guess, but it's something. I would say Warsman's like main weakness is probably he doesn't really have heavy stuns, I guess, right? Like basically one on A, like just only heavy stun. He doesn't really need it, right? Because between stuff like 623A or 5S at like the corner, he has kind of like no issues like pressuring for people, right? It's as simple as just doing a string like this, or just doing like that, right? Like he doesn't have like a lot of like trouble like pressuring like roll bouncing folks. It's just he doesn't really have heavy stunts to like do that. He does have like some range issues, which I can probably like best illustrate by trying to show off like his throw text, right? You saw his jab, you saw his 623A launcher, which you hear is 12 frames, and you go, oh, that might be like a great like throw punish, and it kind of is, but at the same time, it's also kind of annoying, and you'll see why in a second here. Right, there I got it, but let me do it maybe like a little bit slower. So okay, so this is not really illustrating my point very well, so I might add that in post. But again, like some characters, like this throw punishment, like is like inconsistent. Yeah, I'm like that, right? Where like if you do it like a little bit like on not like the right timing, it ends up whiffing, which I don't think I can. Yeah, just like that, right? Even if it's like just like that. Even if it's like a technically a 11 frame jab, the window to punish with it, punish like throws with it, is like a lot shorter than it seems, because you kind of have to like delay it a little bit, because like the opponent kind of like snaps back forwards, which only then you can kind of connect with jab 5S, right? Otherwise, the jab will whiff. And also because of its range, if you punish with this, right, and it's not at the corner, you can't really get like the 8 AOTG, because like they end up a bit too far. You kind of have to settle for a 2 AOTG. So just like more range problem than you might expect. Right? It's still a great. Sometimes you still do get it. Never mind. It's still a great jab. It's just the range maybe like leaves a bit to be desired. And 623 like have the same problem too, where if you punish with it poorly, you might accidentally have it whiff. Right there, I got it. Then I'm still getting it. But I promise, especially on like smaller characters, this can be a bit of a weird punish, like a pretty strict punish, because you have to kind of like time it. 623 is like a bit better at it though than like jab, but of course 623 like has a problem there where like getting a good combo off of it can be a little bit challenging, right? But yeah, some range issues. Like this is a pretty short range like launcher, right? But the others are pretty minor, right? Anything beyond that are like a lot more like esoteric weaknesses, like he's maybe a bit steppable or like low profileable, right? Which if you're like just picking up the game, don't really matter, right? He's just like a really great even actually character to like kind of start off with. So if you're a Warsman fan, you're kind of eating good, I would say. If you like Warsman from like the previous few episodes and you're interested in this game, he's a great pick. He's a great pick. As always, I will end off with showing off like Warsman supers. Warsman has 2 supers, one of which is a pretty standard like throw super. It's the Paolo Special DN. There we go. It's a Paolo Special DN, which is a like a typical super throw. It's the one he used to beat Polar Man. Shout out to Polar Man. So it's a pretty typical one. But his other super is like one of the most unique supers in the game, because it's a non-cinematic strike like that. And so it's a 2-hit non-cinematic strike. It's pretty low damage for a super, but it's also unblockable. And if you notice there, like it does launch the opponent, which means like in the right conditions, you're actually able to pick up off this launch and get like insane amounts of damage, like just like that, right? And that's pretty cool. It actually gets really funny if you're using red KKD, kind of like this, maybe. There we go. because then in the corner, like Warsman is actually able to pop right KKD and then loop this, and this is again maybe a bit out there, but I do like showing this off. It's just like a really specific to Warsman, pretty cool application of this super, where you can basically just do something like this. So yeah, it can just loop, 3 or 4 times, and then like just for like 938 damage, and it's like really fun, right? It's not the cool, the most practical or best thing ever, but it's a really unique and fun use of a super. So yeah, that's Warsman really. He's just a really good boy and a good character. So just if you like Warsman, give him a shot. So yeah, I think like that probably like does it for this video. Probably still ends up being longer than I said it was gonna be. Tough luck. I think some people probably still enjoy these being a bit longer, right? But I think like this should give you like a pretty good understanding of like what Warsman's deal is in MGP2, what you should be doing with the character, right? So I think with this video, that kind of concludes this batch of intro videos to tie with the anime. I probably don't want to say what the next character will be because like that might be a spoiler with like the next season. So I guess just look forward to that. But there will be hopefully many more intro videos because this season, even though this season is over, the Perfect Origin arc anime is not where close to being over. So look forward to more of those. So yeah, this has been Fish Traps, and I think until the next intro video, which I don't know when that will come out, keep playing MGP2. And hop on the Discord, ask questions, look at the links in the description. They have all of the good guides that you will need there. Then, I'll sketch it all around.